How religious are my parents? I'll say definitely by secular standards, fairly religious. They attend mass weekly. As far as being raised in the household, there wasn't a whole lot of application from what we did on Sundays versus what we did Monday through Saturday, as far as like having talks and conversations about Christianity or about how to pray or about how to get closer to Jesus. And so it was definitely there. It was present growing up, but it wasn't something that was necessarily part of my everyday life. It was more or less reserved for once a week.
Um, my mom came from a religious family, but she never was religious herself or never pushed it on us. And my father wasn't religious at all.
And so how would you describe your own religiousness?
0%.
Definitely a lot more religious as far as practicing. I try and go to mass every day. I try and basically take my faith to a deeper level. So growing up, how was my delinquency and how's my I guess chance of acting out? Yeah, so kind of growing up, again, like we went to church every Sunday, but it wasn't something that was part of how I chose to live my daily life. And so while I definitely identified as a Christian for most of my life, there was a good portion of my life where it was pretty hypocritical, where I would say I was Christian, but then living a life that was very contrary to how Christians are meant to live their life. And so basically all through high school, I was maybe not partying a ton, but like definitely going to parties. I was drinking, didn't smoke weed, but I was having sexual experiences. There was definitely a large amount of sexual activity relative to Christians. I would say in regards to a secular community, it was most likely less than normal. And then towards maybe the end or middle of senior year, I started to take my faith a lot more seriously and realize, if my role in life is to be a disciple of Jesus, I need to, fully give that to Him and fully live my life in a way that He's calling me to live, and just trust that He knows the best plan for how I am to go about living my life. And so in college, there was definitely a huge change with that, where I stopped going to parties. As far as sexual activity, I got really big into chastity in the sense of understanding that our bodies are a gift from God, and as such, our sexuality is meant to glorify Him, is meant to point back to Him, and that sex within marriage is something that unites a husband and wife, and that's something to be reserved when that commitment and um, that connection is there. And so in college, it's definitely a complete 180 flip, where currently me and my girlfriend are being chaste, so we're saving sex for marriage, and we're very intentional about the way that we're touching each other, just in the sense of we want certain signs of physical affection to wait till marriage in order for it to have more of a powerful effect in building up our relationship in that context of marriage.
At the beginning of high school, I was in a cheer squad, and I tried my hardest to be as involved as possible so I could have a good-looking resume to eventually end up in a sorority at college.
And so did that continue all the way through high school or no?
No, that stopped about halfway through.
Why?
You really want to know why?
Yeah.
Some girls on the cheer squad felt uncomfortable that I was bisexual, so I got kicked off. And then I became very troublesome. I started skipping school. I started getting involved with drugs and fights on campus. Mainly because, weed was accessible and it was fun. And fighting because I guess I was just angry about things, and I have a very short temper with people.